Man, sometimes NASCAR weeks just hit different. You sit down thinking it's going to be a normal race week, normal storylines, maybe just another preview heading into the next Cup race. Then suddenly, two completely different stories start shaking things up around the garage. One of them involves lineup changes that could seriously impact what we see on track this weekend. The other one involves a Cup Series driver who decided to be brutally honest about something drivers complain about all the time. And the way he said it definitely got people talking across the NASCAR world. These are two stories that might seem totally unrelated at first, but both of them say a lot about where the Cup Series stands right now. One story is about drivers dealing with tough situations and lineup changes inside a top team. The other story is about a driver basically saying everyone needs to stop complaining and just go race. So today we have two big NASCAR stories to talk about, and both of them are creating real conversation among fans. If you have been following the 2026 season closely, you may have already noticed something interesting. So far this season, we still have not had two races with the exact same entry list. Every single race this year has had at least one change somewhere in the field. And heading into the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, that trend continues. This time, the big detail is that for the first time this season, there will be 0 open cars entered in the race. Every car in the field for Las Vegas will be a chartered entry. That might not sound like a huge deal at first, but it actually connects to something pretty historic that happened last year. In 2025, the first race at Las Vegas became the first race in NASCAR Cup Series history that had 0 part-time drivers in the field. And now in 2026, we are seeing something very similar again with a fully chartered lineup. One of the reasons for that is that Richard Childress Racing will not be entering their open car this weekend. Richard Childress Racing had been the only team bringing an open car to the last 2 races. They entered the number 33 Chevrolet at Circuit of the Americas and again at Phoenix Raceway. At COTA, the car was driven by Jesse Love, who races in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Then last weekend at Phoenix, that same car was driven by his teammate Austin Hill. The team has made it clear that the number 33 car will appear at select races throughout the season, but Las Vegas will not be one of those races. So that is the first lineup change. The second change is the one that really caught people's attention this week because it involves Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick Motorsports confirmed that Justin Allgaier will drive the number 48 Chevrolet this weekend, filling in for Alex Bowman. And honestly, this situation is becoming pretty concerning for Bowman. If you remember what happened at Circuit of the Americas, Bowman actually removed himself from the race during the third and final stage because he was experiencing serious symptoms. It was later confirmed that he was dealing with vertigo. Since then, Hendrick Motorsports has been managing the situation race by race. At COTA, Matt Snyder filled in for Bowman during the closing laps of the race. Then at Phoenix Raceway, the team had Anthony Alfredo drive the car. Now heading into Las Vegas, it will be Justin Allgaier taking over the seat. Interestingly, Bowman was initially listed on the entry list for both Phoenix and Las Vegas before these substitutions were confirmed, which suggests the team was hoping he might recover in time. Right now, there is still no official timetable for when Bowman might return to the car. And when you look at the bigger picture, that is another thing that stands out. After this weekend, Bowman will have missed multiple races in 3 of the last 5 seasons. That is never something a driver wants, especially in a championship format like the NASCAR playoffs where every race matters. Now, let's talk about Justin Allgaier for a moment because Hendrick Motorsports clearly trusts him in these situations. This will not be his first time stepping into a Hendrick car. Back in 2020, he filled in for Jimmy Johnson at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then in 2024, he stepped in for Kyle Larson at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Allgaier has also been getting Cup experience recently. He drove the Daytona 500 for JR Motorsports in both 2025 and 2026. So heading into Las Vegas, we will see Justin Allgaier behind the wheel of the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. And fans are definitely going to be watching that situation closely because every race Bowman misses becomes more important when you start thinking about points, momentum, and playoff eligibility later in the season. Now, the second story today is completely different, but it also created a lot of discussion among NASCAR fans. This one involves Noah Gragson. Gragson is 27 years old, and in 2026, he drives the number 4 Ford for Front Row Motorsports. This week, he was featured in the Athletics 12 Questions interview series with NASCAR insider Jeff Gluck. If you follow NASCAR media, you probably know this series. Drivers answer different questions, and they also leave a question for the next driver who will be interviewed. The question that Gragson received actually came from his Cup Series rival, Christopher Bell. Bell's question was simple. He asked how the Speedway package should be fixed. That topic comes up constantly in NASCAR conversations. Drivers talk about the aero package. Fans debate superspeedway racing, and teams talk about fuel-saving strategies. But Gragson's response was very direct. He immediately said, "What is wrong with it? And why do we have to fix everything?" He said, "We already have what we have, and we should just go race." Jeff Gluck then asked him if fuel-saving strategies were something that bothered him, because that is another thing drivers often complain about. But Gragson doubled down on his point. He said that if you save more fuel than the other drivers and do a better job than them, you will find yourself at the front after the final green flag pit stop. Then he took the argument even further. Gragson pointed out that sometimes drivers complain about racing styles simply because they are not strong in certain types of racing. He admitted that he is not the best road course racer. Another driver might not be the best superspeedway racer, but instead of asking NASCAR to change the rules, he believes drivers should focus on improving their own skills. He even joked that it would be like him asking NASCAR for a bigger spoiler at road courses just because he struggles there. His message was simple. Drivers should get better, manage strategy better, and adapt to the racing conditions instead of constantly asking NASCAR to change the rules. He also talked about fuel strategy in very simple terms. He said if drivers run less throttle than the people around them, they will spend less time on pit road and eventually end up closer to the front.